Hello, beautiful lights. I am your host, Kimberly Barrett. Welcome to the Sharing Love and Light Show, Vibration and Consciousness on the Planet. I am a psychic medium, quantum energy healer, and intuitive coach here to help you experience light and love. On this show, I will help you tap into your personal power and shift your energy so you can step into your life's purpose and manifest your dreams. I believe that love is not a verb, it is a state of being. Stay with me for the next hour and unlock the quantum energy gifts that are already in you. You're listening to the Sharing Love and Light Show, starting now. Hello, beautiful lights. I am your host, Kimberly Barrett, and you are listening to the Sharing Love and Light Show on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with us for the next hour and let me help you experience love and light every first and third Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where we will be discussing sharing love and light, vibration and consciousness on the planet. We will also have some of the most amazing guests sharing their experience, strength, and hope with sharing love and light and making that amazing shift in the vibration and consciousness on the planet. Today, we will be discussing moving from fear to love. And I will also offer some practical tips and guided meditations to help us make that shift. I'm so excited. This is a topic that I always get really excited about because it's talking about moving out of the fear consciousness and into love consciousness. We talked last episode about making that shift in the vibration and consciousness to help our planet. We have an amazing opportunity to really create a new earth and a new paradigm shift in the world. I shared my story on how I moved from a fear-based consciousness to a love-based consciousness and started sharing that love and light with others. Many of us are here to help shift the collective consciousness from fear to love. As human beings, we have free will. We have that free will to choose between fear and love. What comes to mind for me, being part Cherokee, is the Cherokee story of the Cherokee grandfather teaching his grandson about life. "A fight is going on inside of me," he said to the boy. "It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One is bad. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, control, false pride, superiority, and ego." He continued, "The other wolf is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, appreciation, truth, compassion, and faith." And he said to his grandson, "The same fight is going on inside of you and inside of every other person too." The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" And the old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed." Remember, love is not a verb, it is a state of being. It's an energy we can tap into. With that said, how can we move from fear to love? Well, let's talk about fear consciousness. So many of us feel fear in our lives. It's actually part of our makeup, our physiological makeup, to have some fear. It's our survival brain that's in there, that part of us that keeps us out of harm's way and helps us survive. But how many of us nowadays are living in that fear consciousness, that constant survival mode. And even more of us are not even aware of it. Fear triggers that survival part of the brain. We perceive danger. Anytime the thought danger goes across our mind, we have an actual chemical response. It is what one of my friends calls the reptilian brain. It is the oldest part of the brain in the human being. It's the survival mechanism. It's called the amygdala. When we perceive danger as human beings, it sets off the amygdala. It sets off the chemicals in the brain, and it causes us to go into that fight or flight, freeze or appease. Appease, of course, is our people pleasing and approval seeking. Unfortunately, the reality in modern day living, the sad truth, is that amygdala, that survival part of the brain, cannot differentiate between real danger and perceived danger. Where this becomes a problem for us as humans, when we're in that survival part of our brain, we don't have access to our logical thinking. We cannot logically think things through when we're in that chemical response triggered in the amygdala. Now, we want that amygdala to work very well, that chemical part of the brain, that survival piece, when there's a real danger there. When the danger is right in front of us. So think past, way past, when a saber-toothed tiger is in front of you and it looks like it's going to eat you, right? You're going to go into fight, flight, freeze, or appease. You're going to have that chemical response where the heart starts racing, our breathing changes, all the blood rushes from the extremities to the big muscles to get us ready to take the action we need to take. The difficult part that's challenging is that when we are in that survival mode, we don't have access to the logical thinking. When the real danger is in front of us and it's really happening, we want that response to work really well. We want to be able to not have to rely on that very slow cerebral cortex to make decisions for us. So, we want the amygdala to work well. The problem is many of us are living in that survival mode and that fear based on a whole lot of perceived danger. It's not actually right in front of us. We have generations of developed patterns of thinking we have learned through observation between the ages of 0 and 8 years old, observing the people around us through watching TV, watching the media, watching news shows, and through observing our parents, the generations of our grandparents, the school teachers, the peer groups we've hung out with. So a whole lot of the worrying and the limited beliefs, the traumatic experiences, the denied feelings, a lot of that guilt, shame, blame, greed, power, control, those lower vibration and frequency are patterns we have learned. We have been taught somewhere along the line. Now, we don't need to blame. One of the things that I offer as a teaching is to release guilt, shame, and blame. Let it go. Guilt, shame, and blame is, part of that thinking that comes with the fear and the survival mode. But let's talk a little bit more about how we can shift out of this fear, out of this lower vibration and frequency, and move into love, appreciation, compassion, some of those higher vibrations and frequencies. And how can we get out of survival mode so that we can actually be in our logical thinking, have more logical thinking, and have a whole lot more of our ability to really be able to trust our intuition and hear our intuition. Some of us call that the God consciousness. So what we want to shift into are those higher vibrations. We're choosing between fear and love. What I offer is it's difficult to choose between fear and love if we're not aware of what's really going on inside of us. So part of what we're going to talk about in the next section is how to increase our awareness, be able to identify fear, and start using skills and tools to be able to identify the fear, face the fear, and be able to move from fear consciousness into a love consciousness. We have been discussing the human experience of fear so we can move from fear to love. Let's take a short break. And when we return, we will discuss how to become more aware of and accepting of our fear so that we can shift into that love consciousness. We'll be back in a few. Welcome back. You are listening to Sharing Love and Light Show with me, Kimberly Barrett. Before we begin, I want to make sure you know how to contact me. I can be reached through my website, sharingloveandlightshow.com, or through my Facebook page, Kimberly Barrett, Psychic Medium Intuitive Coach at facebook.com/activate777. If you would like a free video titled Living an Intuitively Inspired Life, you can visit the link kimberlylbarrett.com/intuitive life. We have been talking about the fear consciousness when we are in fear as human beings, how we can shift from that fear to love. So how can we help ourselves? What are practical things? I'm all about doing whatever is practical. How is it going to help me? So what can we do in our lives to move from fear to love? For me, the first step is awareness. Increasing awareness through mindfulness. Many of you might have heard the term mindfulness. Some of you might already be practicing it. If you don't understand what that means, I love to use Jon Kabat-Zinn's definition. Jon Kabat-Zinn is a medical PhD. He is a gentleman that brought the mindfulness into the medical field. He does a ton of research and support in the medical field. He's helped a whole lot of people in learning mindfulness and helping them with pain management, with being able to shift and change however it is they're living to help them have better health outcomes through the use of mindfulness. So Jon Kabat-Zinn's definition of mindfulness is paying attention on purpose without judging what we're paying attention to. So the mind might be judging, the thinking mind might be judging, but we're not judging what we're noticing. It is the part of us that is in awareness, the piece of us that is paying attention, that's noticing the thinking, the physiological feelings, the action urges, the responses. That's the part of us that is not judging. And many of us call it our conscious awareness. We're increasing our consciousness on our planet. Mindfulness is a pathway to increasing consciousness. With awareness, we can identify our fear, our survival mode reactions. Then we can begin to make that shift out of fear and into love. I began my mindfulness journey with Tara Brach, who is an American psychologist, author, and prominent Buddhist meditation. She is a guiding teacher and founder of Insight Meditation Community of Washington, D.C. She has a lot of books out there. She also does different teachings. I think they're live now for her teachings that I went to every Wednesday night for Insight Meditation Community of Washington, D.C. And I learned mindfulness. I was also able to learn how to turn and face my fear, turn and face some of the things that were going on inside of me that I had been avoiding for years. Tara Brach is the one that wrote the books Radical Acceptance and Radical Compassion. I highly recommend them. Back then, it was probably about 23 years ago for me. I don't think I even realized I had a body or feet or hands. I spent most of my time up in my mind, up in my head thinking. And I believed a lot of the thoughts that were going on. I lived in a lot of fear. What Tara Brach taught me, and many of my other mentors, was to turn toward the fear, face it, lean into it, give it a voice. One of my mentors taught me the story of fear, logic, and intuition who lived in the same house. Fear, logic, and intuition live in the house inside of me. And whenever there is a problem to be solved or some future event coming up, we would have a house meeting. Fear, logic, and intuition would show up. In the past, I would ignore the fear, avoid the fear, not let any fear be seen, and it would wreak havoc in my life. Although I tried to live with logic and intuition, the fear without a voice was causing me a lot of trouble. So what I was taught was to turn toward fear in the house and allow fear to be seen and heard. Then I can bring in the logical thinking and the intuition. The way Tara Brach would put it is she would say that fear is called Mara. Mara is suffering, and that we would invite Mara to tea. If Mara comes knocking on the door, invite Mara to tea. So I allow fear to be seen, to be heard, to be noticed. Using mindfulness, I can become mindfully aware of all of the parts of the fear, the thoughts, the physiological sensations like holding my breath. I didn't realize I hold my breath often. Noticing when my breath is shallow versus really like breathing through my diaphragm. Being able to notice that my jaw was clenched and it was causing problems in my neck, in my arms. Noticing where we tighten up our stomach and our hips, because fear, we start to grip and tighten things up. So I began to allow fear to have a voice, to be seen and to be heard. And what I've discovered about most fear is it's false evidence appearing real. So I can face everything and recover, or I can, F everything and run. Instead, I learned to face the fear. Then in the house meeting, once fear is seen and heard and it's allowed to have a voice, then logical thinking and intuition can do their part to be able to bring that real truth, facts into the story, to be able to bring the intuition into the story. So I learned to become mindfully aware of all parts of my fear. Like I said earlier, the thoughts, the physiological sensations, the reactions. Look at all the ways we avoid facing our fears. This is where a lot of addictions come from. There was so much fear under there. We avoid by being overbusy, by staring at the TV, by overeating or undereating. There's so many ways we avoid anything but really facing it and breathing through it. And in the next segment, I'm going to talk about things that I did that helped me to move through it and release out of it. So the first step that I learned in shifting from fear to love is awareness. Becoming aware of those fear consciousnesses, allowing myself to look at fear. And one of the other things that I've learned is that fear is a shadow. It's an illusion. But I cannot recognize it unless I am awake, in awareness, consciously aware, allowing myself to see the places where there's fear. The second step is acceptance. Accepting whatever it is we're noticing, accepting when the fear is there, accepting whatever it is that's going on. Acceptance doesn't mean I'm okay with it, and acceptance doesn't mean that I condone any of the behaviors or the thoughts or anything like that. Acceptance is just, I'm going to stop fighting my reality and accept what I notice. Only when I accept where I am right now in this moment, whatever it is that's going on, then I can begin to make the change. So I had to become aware of the fear, accept the fear consciousness and the fear responses. Then I could move toward, slowly move toward increasing that love consciousness instead, choosing love over fear. One of the ways to do that is to take that moment to pause throughout the day in any way possible, taking an on purpose moment to pause and notice, how am I breathing? What does my jaw feel like? What am I doing with my hands? How's my heart rate? Noticing what's going on inside of me and outside of me. Taking that moment to pause without judging anything that you're noticing and without changing it. Accepting whatever it is in that moment. Then I can choose the path toward love. We have been discussing fear in the human being, in the human consciousness, and how we can shift from fear to love. Awareness is the first step. Acceptance is the second step. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we will discuss the tools and techniques to help move us once we've identified that fear, from the fear into love. See you soon. Welcome back, beautiful lights. You are listening to Sharing Love and Light Show with me, Kimberly Barrett. Before we get back into talking about fear and love, I want to make sure you know how to contact me. I can be reached through my website, sharingloveandlightshow.com, or through my Facebook page, Kimberly Barrett, Psychic Medium Intuitive Coach. It's at facebook.com/activate777. If you would like a free video titled Living an Intuitively Inspired Life, you can visit the link kimberlylbarrett.com/intuitive life. Let's get back to sharing about how to shift from fear into love. I was guided through my intuition and my guides to come on, share some tools and techniques I have used. Once I've identified I'm in that fear consciousness, and I can move toward love consciousness. So one of the most important tools and techniques is breathing. Most people don't realize how important it is. I do. I shared in the last episode that I had come from a lot of abuse in my life. I had a whole lot of post-traumatic stress. I tended to hold my breath often. And when I get in fear, I can, really either go into very, very shallow breathing or not breathing at all. So one of the tools and techniques that I learned is if you go into that really rapid breathing, you've gotten yourself really, really upset, blow the air out first, then take the deep breath. I am so grateful that I learned that, because what happens is when I'm in all that shallow breathing and someone reminds me to take a deep breath, that'll help you calm down. It's really hard to take a very deep breath when you're in that shallow breathing. You're taking a very, very deep, shallow breath. So the technique is blow all the air out first, then take the deep breath. But one of the most useful tools I was given by a friend of mine, her name is Hope Renault. She's an LCSW. She opened an intensive outpatient for mental health that is called the Middle Path. They do dialectical behavioral therapy by Marsha Linehan. And what they teach is core mindfulness, as well as things like emotion regulation, distress tolerance, and interpersonal effectiveness. One of the best skills I ever learned to get back to that logic mind, because when you get in fear or you get anxious or you get in that emotion, it's really hard to not be in the emotion mind. To get back to a little bit more logic mind, we can use what's called square breathing. I learned later that they also use this in the Navy SEALs. So this is square breathing. You're going to breathe in and count to 4, then hold your breath and count to 4, and then let the breath out counting to 4, and do that 4 times in a row. So let's do this together. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 2, 3, 4, let it out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 2, 3, 4, let it out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 2, 3, 4. Let it out. 2, 3, 4. Last time, breathing in. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Let it out. 2, 3, 4. And then notice how you feel inside and notice your outsides. It brings you just a little more clarity. You know, we recommend doing square breathing 3 times a day, just on purpose, doing some square breathing 3 times a day. Remember to breathe in the belly so that you're bringing that diaphragm in. You want the belly to come out and come back in. You're focusing on the counting and the breathing. If your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to the counting and the breathing. So I offer that square breathing to you. There's another one that I've done often. It's a shorter technique. You can use it anytime, anywhere, especially if you're really noticing that you're having some fear. It's breathing in love and breathing out fear. And for those of you that are into energy, you really want to focus your intention on breathing in the love energy and breathing out the fear. So let's try that together. Breathe in love. Breathe out fear. Breathe in love. Breathe out fear. One more time. Breathing in love and breathing out fear. So the last breathing exercise I wanted to share, I got from a friend of mine in New York. Her name is Melanie. She's an amazing yoga instructor and she teaches yogic breathing. She's so amazing. So she gave me this technique for releasing fear and stress when you're getting ready to do something new or you're facing something that you have a lot of fear around or could be really stressful. And it's got a noise to it. So I encourage you, if you're in a place where you can do this, to do this one with me. You're going to breathe in the nose, and then you're going to make a sound as you breathe it out. Release it all out. So breathing in and breathing out. So try it one more time with me. Breathing in, breathing out. Release all that fear out and notice how you feel after you've done it. So those are ways to start to release that fear and bring yourself back into the moment. Another important thing is grounding and embodying. And grounding and embodying, when we are in survival mode and when we go into fear, we tend to leave our bodies. So energetically speaking, we kind of check out. We're no longer present. We either go into automatic pilot or we leave the scene completely. As a trauma survivor, I had a lot of different triggers and I would perceive danger quite often. So I would leave my body often. I was not capable at the time of really like staying in my body. It didn't feel safe. So what I learned is a grounding and embodying meditation. And it's something that you can do anywhere, anytime. It's called grounding with the 5 senses. So basically it looks like this. Look for in your environment 5 things that you can look at. Just really look and notice them, full presence. Then feel 5 things you can feel. You can feel your feet on the floor. You can feel your bottom on the chair. You can touch things with your hands. It's bringing you grounded back in your body with the 5 senses. Then you can smell. Notice what you smell. You can listen. I'm hearing a lot of different sounds, a ticking clock, a water fountain, the air conditioner, maybe even the traffic out on the highway. Just notice what you hear, my voice coming through to you. And then notice what you taste. You can even put something in your mouth that has a taste and notice what you taste. It's grounding yourself back in. The embodying is then calling in all of your energy through your crown chakra, that's at the top of the head, calling in all of you off of everyone else back into your body, and fill yourself up with you in your body. Set your intention and really feel yourself fill up with you. It's grounding and embodying. And then I add saying the words to yourself, I am safe. It is safe now. I am safe. It is safe now. One of the other little tidbits I learned about panic attacks and perceived danger is to scan your environment and check to see, is there real danger, yes or no? And if not, then what it is discomfort. You're just in that chemical response. And all fight or flight, panic attack, chemical response, fear has an end. It's just a chemical response and a feeling, and it will end. You can also use the breathing, the grounding, the embodying, reminding yourself, I am safe now. It is safe. And the last thing I say is I ask my angels and guides, whatever word you use for your higher power, whoever it is you call on, I ask to have them to remove my fear and direct my attention to love. We've been reviewing some tools and techniques to help us move from fear to love. Let's take a short break. And when we return, we will discuss how to become aware of our fear. I'm going to say this again. I'm grounding myself back in. I'm reading off this paper instead of talking to you. So let's take the short break. When we return, we're going to do some meditations that can just shift us into love, just to make the choice to do the meditation and shift into love. We'll be back soon. Welcome back. You're listening to Sharing Love and Light Show with me, Kimberly Barrett. Again, I want to remind you how to contact me. I can be reached through my website, sharingloveandlightshow.com, or through my Facebook page, Kimberly Barrett, Psychic Medium Intuitive Coach at facebook.com/activate777. I am giving a free offering. It's a video of a workshop that I did titled Living an Intuitively Inspired Life. You can visit the link, kimberlylbarrett.com/intuitive life for more details. So in this segment, I have been guided by my amazing guides to walk us through meditations and help us move out of fear into love. So these are some of the love energy meditations that I practice. One of them was given to me by a friend of mine. He is an amazing chiropractor. He works with fascia tissue, and he was in a group that I was in and walked us through this meditation. I've been doing it ever since. It's very similar to some other things I've done. So let me walk you through this. I call it above and below, focusing on the heart chakra. So take a moment to pause, feel your feet on the floor, grounding yourself in with what you see, what you hear, what you feel, noticing how gravity is fully supporting you right here, right now, in this moment. Your mind might be busy in the background. Allow it to chatter away in the background and bring your attention to your breathing. Come fully present with your breath. And now imagine and set your intention that you're going to draw energy from below, from Earth Mother Gaia, up through your root chakra, all the way up through your heart chakra, going all the way up through your crown chakra. And then draw the energy from above your crown, all the energies that you need, set your intention for those beautiful, positive love energies, and bring those in, pulling that energy down with each breath, bringing that energy all the way down past the heart chakra, all the way down through the root chakra into the earth. And now when you draw the energy up from below, also draw energy from above at the same time and draw them into your heart chakra. So taking a big breath in, drawing the energies from above and below into the heart chakra. And when you blow the air out, spread the energy out into your aura. Again, drawing that energy from above and below, all that beautiful, loving earth energy and love energy into the heart. Feel the heart chakra fill up and then blow it out. Spread that energy out throughout your aura. And one last time, bringing that energy in, into the heart chakra from above and below. Feel that love energy fill up in your heart and spreading it out. If your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to the meditation. And now take your focus, your energy, your conscious mind, and focus on your heart chakra. You can even touch your heart area. Put your hand on your heart or just touch the heart area. Sometimes when we touch that area, it can help our consciousness to focus on that area. Bring your attention to your heart chakra. And now, let go and imagine and feel the feeling of love and appreciation. You might think about something that you love and appreciate, or someone that you love and appreciate that's easy to feel that love and appreciation. And then set your intention to allow that love and appreciation in your heart to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Feeling that heart chakra being filled and cleansed and healed with that love energy, that appreciation. Just allowing that energy to come into the heart chakra. And sit with that for a little bit. Feel that love and that appreciation. And then when you're ready, you can let go. So the second meditation is called Bringing in Love Energy Meditation. I'm going to walk you through it. Basically, this is all you do. You breathe in the energy from the earth all the way up the body, and then let it come out of your crown chakra like it's the tree leaves. So just breathing in the love and allowing it to spread out. So let's do that for the next few minutes. Again, closing your eyes if you can. You can do this one with your eyes open if you can't close your eyes. Bringing yourself fully present. Breathing in the love energy. Just set your intention to breathe in that love energy through that root chakra. And releasing it out of the heart. Nice big breaths in the nose and out the mouth. Breathing in that love energy and breathing out the love energy. Bringing in more and more love. Releasing all your blocks. Allowing that energy to move through you, bringing in that love and bringing out that love. And then notice how you feel. I highly recommend doing that for a good 5 minutes a day. Intention is so important, setting your intention. I like to set my intention to have love-filled experiences all day. So I will say my prayer or set my intention in the morning to have a love-filled day. And then what I do is I pay attention and look for it all day. And it's amazing what can happen when you set that intention first thing in the morning to have that love-filled day. I intend to have love-filled experiences all day today. I intend to do no harm in thoughts and words toward myself and others, and then watch the miracles happen. In the first episode, we discussed sharing light and love, how we as individuals can help ourselves to shift, and in turn, it helps to shift the vibration and the frequency and the collective consciousness on our planet. In this episode, we focused on the individual, that we can face our fears and choose love. Remember, love is not a verb, it is a state of being. It's an energy we can tap into, a level of consciousness we can move into. These are practical tools and techniques that can help us get there. I hope that you have enjoyed them. Join me every first and third Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio for sharing love and light, vibration, and consciousness on the planet. Thanks for tuning in to the Sharing Love and Light Show, Vibration and Consciousness on the Planet, with me, Kimberly Barrett. Remember, love is not a verb, it is a state of mind. You've spent the last hour experiencing love and light and tapping into the quantum energy that already exists in you. But the journey doesn't stop here. Tune in every first and third Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio, as we continue exploring the energetic shifts happening in and around us. With love and light, see you next time.